Rose Jackson, MLC, Shadow Minister for Water in New South Wales. Thanks for speaking to us on Flow.
No worries, man. Nice to be here.
Now, on Twitter today, you've made some comments about Melinda Pavey's front page appearance in the Daily Telly. What's your view on what's going on here with the Murray Darling Basin Plan?
Yeah, well, I was pretty surprised to see the front page of the Telegraph today with Melinda Pavey, the Water Minister, saying the government has stuffed up water policy. I mean, that's her. She's the government. She's stuffed up water policy. And I think after 10 years in government, it's a bit much for them to turn around and say, oh, yeah, well, we've got it wrong and we're going to go in a new direction. I just think it's blatantly political, and I think it's a bit pathetic, to be honest.
And so where is this heading now? They're basically saying they're going back to the drawing board to find other water savings. So first of all, is it a positive for people, say, at Menindee Lakes that were worried about losing some water in the lake system?
Look, it is. I mean, I want to be clear. I am pleased that they have abandoned the projects at Menindee that absolutely did not have community support. But those projects have been in the works since 2012. It is almost 10 years the community has been fighting those projects. And finally, kicking and screaming, the government has been dragged to the realisation that those projects aren't going to work. And look, that's a good thing. But, past performance is a good indicator of future performance. And so I am concerned about what's next. We do need to recover water. We need to protect our environment. We need to save our rivers. And this government hasn't taken the community with them. It hasn't taken farmers and irrigators and First Nations people with them. And I'm pretty concerned about what's going to be in the future for future projects, considering what they've done in the past.
Your predecessor told us it was Labor policy that you supported buybacks from willing sellers. Is that something that might need to be on the table now that these other projects are abandoned?
Well, I mean, we don't want to see buybacks. We would rather see projects delivered that actually deliver water savings. And so we're interested in seeing what the alternatives that the Minister is going to put forward are. But the clock is ticking here. As I said, these projects have been in the works since 2012. We need the reconciliation by 2024. That's a few years away. We're keen to work with the government and with local communities to ensure that we avoid buybacks. But the government has really been too slow here, and I think that they've left it far too late to actually do the consultation on new projects. So it's really on them. It's on them to say what's going to happen next.
But to be clear then, it's not Labor's the policy that the buybacks would be a last resort then? Is that where you are on the buyback issue?
Yeah, that's right. That's not our preferred option. Our preferred option is to meet the targets under the Murray Darling Basin Plan through a variety of other water-saving projects. That's always been our position. And we don't rule buybacks off the table, but really it's on the government to deliver the water-saving that they have signed up for. We can't manage this from opposition. I can't deliver the Murray Darling Basin Plan from opposition. The government has to step up and do that. And they have just been dragging their heels. They have not been engaging with the community. And I think the community is rightfully going to ask questions about what their plans are going forward. And
you mentioned the clock is ticking, and that's something we've been saying to the government because of that 2024 deadline in the Basin Plan. Isn't it going to be the case that if now they've chucked it all out and they said they're going back to the drawing board, they're going to run out of time and buyback will be activated by a federal government?
Mate, I mean, you've hit the nail on the head. We're really concerned about that. We're really concerned about that looming deadline. We don't want to see the hammer come down in 2024 and the community left facing, buybacks as the only option. We don't want to see that. But, the government has got to really act pretty quickly and, sort of front page splashes by the minister saying, oh, well, we've stuffed it up for the last 10 years. They don't instill a lot of confidence in us and in the community that they know what they're doing.
Well, when it comes to, I guess, last question about the federal government, what role are they going to have to play here? Because I'm guessing that maybe the state government's going to go leaning on their federal colleagues to maybe help them fund the alternative projects that they dream up.
Well, that's exactly what's happened. And in fact, a federal government has already indicated that I think it's $300 million may be available from federal funds. And look, hey, I'm a New South Wales Member of Parliament. I want support from the federal government. But some of the other states might rightfully ask, why is New South Wales getting all this money to deliver projects that are the responsibility of the state government? The federal government does have a really important role to play here, though, because, at that 2024 deadline, it's going to be on them. What are they going to do? Are they going to call New South Wales to account, for the requirements that we have under the plan or not? So there's some really important questions looming, and I just sort of think the minister's political plays here aren't actually helpful.
Well, we've used the analogy before of students are sitting their Year 12 exams at the moment. It's a bit like New South Wales getting to the exam room and saying, I haven't studied for this. Can I have another couple of months?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, can I have another couple of months? Can I have an exemption? They have known for years, for decades, what their obligations are under the plan. They signed up to the plan, and yet they have just been dragging their heels, not doing the work. And now they're going to ask the federal government for, hundreds of millions of dollars and a get-out-of-jail-free card. And, that's not good governance. That's not good leadership in our state.
Well, Rose Jackson, MLC, thanks for speaking with us on Flow. We'll keep a close eye on this. Thanks again.
Yeah, awesome.